Okay, let's see if that helps. Fingers crossed.
Get back in my turfing them turfs. Right. If you join me, I would try a salmon run.
Ooh, that is tempting. I may join you after this game then. Salmon Run being the co-op horde mode. What was that?
Do we have to be the same level to play together?
I don't think so.
Okay, there was something when we wanted like the same
Oh, right, but
medallion or
did we? But we might have eventually equalized out again. Bravo! Hey, man. See ya. How have you been? The producer's up right now.
incredible gameplay skills. That's skills with a Z. You can hear it when I say it like that.
Rob, I haven't forgotten your suggestion of solo leveling. And again, I still think that's such a neat idea for an underexplored concept. That, man, if there was some way to... I do often see, like, anime seasons on sale on iTunes and stuff. I'm always looking for that one, and it might be solo leveling.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
Bravo, I'm curious, being a fan of Japanese role-playing games, did you play Final Fantasy 16 last year? It came out in like June, I think. And if so, what'd you think? The big PlayStation 5 exclusive. It's real first foray into just straight up action gaming. So what up, Weeats? Not too fan here. I brain farted there watching the producer taking those guys down. I'm doing good. Being here, just 412 Green King. Grovel answering the Final Fantasy 16 question says he did play it and he enjoyed it. Same here. I played it around Thanksgiving this year, a little bit later than when it came out, and I liked it a lot. I beat the whole thing, all 60 hours or whatever of it. I haven't played any of the DLC. I don't know if I'll go back and finish it. I'm curious how it would sort of work. Well, maybe it's a prequel thing. That often happens with DLC. It takes place somewhere maybe before the ending of the game. I enjoyed it a lot. I would not be totally heartbroken if Final Fantasy continues in that sort of more action-oriented vein than, you know, the traditional turn-based stuff, or even the more Final Fantasy VII Remake quasi-turn-based, quasi-real-time. I have not played the Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 yet, but I am looking forward to it. I will get to it at some point before much longer. Oh, that's so close.
And it's not that close.
Not that,
but it's hard to tell when it's separated out like that.
Robble said that I need to introduce you to Monster Hunter as well. I do. I've tried. Robble, it's such a... You bring it up. She has watched me play.
Oh, I didn't die any. That's rare.
I think she would get it, and she would get into it. We'd have to, Grovel, we'd have to find, like, the perfect weapon for her. I don't blame her. It is, like very daunting looking, and it's a game that's nothing but pressure.
Yeah, I don't know about the pressure, and also the, like, that you have to hit it and then you have to keep on hitting it. It being whatever giant scary monster you're fighting.
There are more support type roles
Okay.
where you can, but
Do you like
I think
level
there's-
up your cat and then the cat takes down the monster and you just like
There's
make
like
sure
a-
your
there's
cat
like a-
doesn't die?
there's like a weapon that's like a flute or something. I've never played it, and it like makes everybody kind of stronger. So you could be like,
Oh, play on a team.
yeah. You'd be the team flautist,
The bard.
the bard. Yeah. But that might actually be more technically demanding than bashing a guy with a hammer.
Is it the hunting horn?
It might be.
Oh my gosh, how are there two? How did they do that?
Robble, we both know she could do it just fine. Oh, hell yes. I thought for sure you were toast.
Hill?
You had a homie there with you.
Yeah. Support. Like we said, support role for me.
Robble mentioned with Final Fantasy 16 that the story was very Game of Thrones-like. Yes, I think consciously so. Deliberately evoking Game of Thrones. And I think kind of, sort of,
Oh,
but,
you got me.
it's maybe not as overly cohesive as Game of Thrones was before it fell apart, but I don't know, I kind of like the big giant scope of it. I like the backstabbing and all of the revealing of who banged who and all that fun stuff. But really, I just like the big summon battles, icons, I think they call them in that game. I think Square keeps realizing as the years go by that people really love the summons in Final Fantasy, maybe more than anything else, and they keep leaning into them. Like, they keep becoming sort of bigger components of the games, and
Oh boy, that's a same.
literally and metaphorically. This is 16. It's true. Oh no. You got this, dude. You got this. You can pull this one around, no problem.
Like, kill me. Yeah.
Okay, that's me.
Dig it. Okay, all right. I'm not gonna teleport out. I'm gonna get in a cover up a couple. I really should just get out there because these are not gonna win it.
Welcome back, John Phantom. Mr. Phantom says that due to mental disease and medication, I have lost my desire to play video games, and I have been playing since 1972. Well, John, I am so sorry to hear that. That's especially if they were something that gave you a lot of joy or entertainment. It would really suck to no longer have. But John, is it a if you don't mind sharing, is it a physical thing that the medication has done? Like you no longer have maybe the hand-eye coordination,
Or just the desire.
or is it
That's-
more of a desire? Oh, desire. Yes, that's what he said. Is it stem from a? Because there's so many excellent video games right now that don't really require any quick twitch reflexes, or they're so expansive what a video game is now. But you've been playing since 1972. I guess that's like the Philips Odyssey, Magnavox Odyssey, whatever that very first Pong console was.
Well, there's some more info there.
He said his dad had a prototype. I don't even know what a Kogar 4 is in 72, but later sold a Singer as the Model 1501. With an 8-bit processor, an 8K RAM, and a 20 megabyte removable hard drive. That's not terrible for 1975 specs.
Did you see the price tag on it?
That is a
That's what a really like. What car cost that much in 1975? Are you gonna do some inflation calculator for me?
of course.
I love some inflation calculator because
I did not realize that there was even well, I'm guessing that's not consumer hardware with that name. But I didn't realize. So, I'm gonna have to look up what a prototype.
Intelligent terminal before the term PC was even invented. Wow. So it was huge?
Oh my god, I'm about to say something even more ignorant. Isn't the term PC is a Steve Jobs creation, right?
That sounds right. Yeah. They created the term in their garage, just like the Mac or whatever it was. What was it called back then?
Macintosh still?
Was it a Mac at the start, or it's not a?
No, it was the Macintosh one. It started with.
Oh, the trading.
All right, so let's do some inflation calculator. Let's look in 1977.
It's the
55,000. Before we hit the number crunch, would you like to guess? I have not hit it yet myself. What that would be in today's dollars?
So it's 70, or wait, no,
$50,000 in 1977. So
like
50 years
ago. Oh god, I am so bad at compound math, but I'm gonna say, hopefully without embarrassing myself, because I am supposed to, be.
I can give mine first.
I just peeked at John Phantom's comment. I was gonna say like 170,000.
I was gonna say a 10x multiplier. I was just gonna say $550,000.
Okay. Yeah.
John says that he's calculated before at 400,000. Let's see. $191,759.
So, in between us all.
Yes. All on the same
number of zeros. Oh, hey!
God, that's that period of time we just looked at is a really. If you just looked at the beginning of that time horizon and at the end of that time horizon and skipped the 20 years in between, you would have such a different idea of the way inflation affects is a prominent thing in our economy. Those are years where inflation was out of control in the United States economy. But that is such a strange thing over that time horizon. I mean, it got kind of tamed down, in the 80s and really low in the 90s. Then, of course, we went to 0% inflation for 2008 until 2020.
Scoozed over here.
Yeah, it's just, we're talking about Splatoon and inflation. That's a lot of different topics.
I do love that Crispy Nachos did clarify that, I assume this is on Steve Jobs invented everything, which, yeah, pretty much, but he did not create Skibbity.
He did not. That is, he cannot claim that.
Thank goodness.
Welcome, Crispy Nachos. What is Skibbity? John Phantom says that it was a PC-sized machine, but the hard drive was the size of a small washer. I am not surprised, John Phantom, when you told me that there was a 20-megabyte hard drive in 1975. That was kind of mind-blowing, because in the 80s, that would have been considered a lot of storage. And this is the era where, thanks to, like, Moore's Law, the doubling year over year was not that impressive, right? It's like when you double 2, it's not as impressive as when we double 2 quadrillion. So that amount of storage would be both physically and monetarily a hell of an expense. We're just talking about inflation being a weird difference in those time periods, and then the cost of storage is a thing most of us do not all ever consider anymore. Anyways, Good luck. I totally missed. Did you guys win? Or I was watching this sprint.
Keeps disappearing. Oh, you gotta get in. Bud.
I want to run over my dog. There we go. I'm here. I'm in frame.
Oh,
hopefully.
No, you're disappeared.
I was on the back. That was in the back in time.
That was sorry.
You're
Yes.
looking in the past.
I'm looking in the past.
Let me take you to
The current.
the present day.
The current second.
Grovel said, whatever happened to that PS5 Splatoon game? Grovel's referring to Foam Stars, I think is the name of it. It is a Square produced. We're just talking about Square making Final Fantasy. Well, they also made a PlayStation 5 Splatoon knockoff, where instead of ink, it's foam. And Grovel, the only other thing I know about, the only other thing that I know about
The foam
the game is that the foam comes from inside the people. Like human beings make the foam. They have foam guns.
It feels like got inspired by Splatoon in that Splatoon you're a squid and we're like painting with ink, but this is from our guns, not from our bodies.
Right. It feels like another one of those like in Splatoon. You know, it's ink. Ink's from squids. From their bodies. That's where it comes from. Who gives a shit? Nobody's gonna ask questions about this. But then somebody's like, well, where's the foam come from? And some poor marketing schmuck's like, I think it comes from their bodies. And then you have to like explain that. It's real gross if you think about it. So the answer, Grovel, to where is that PS5 Splatoon game is, I'm guessing in the Walmart clearance bin. If that's still a thing that exists.
Oh, we traded. It's probably Jesse again. I know what Skibbity Toilet is. I read enough.
Skibbity Toilet, the Gen Alpha thing?
Yeah.
Okay, this is
the like war of the toilets versus the machine gun shaped photographer paparazzi.
I don't know any of that. All I know now is she said Skibbity Toilet. It's from what the little bit I know is it's like considered the first Gen Alpha
viral thing.
Yeah, like meme piece of internet culture that they have.
Apparently, even Gen Z doesn't really get it.
Well, that's
so much of an alpha thing.
Yeah. And so the cycle, both accelerates and continues. Pretty soon, instead of we'll stop reading about the think pieces about Gen Z and millennials resenting and hating each other and not understanding each other, and instead we'll start getting the think pieces about how Gen Z is ruining everything in society and destroying all these beloved industries, until we then get the full circle of Gen Z and Gen Alpha don't understand each other. Gen Alpha thinks Gen Z are jaded and backwards and yada yada yada, so on and so forth. We'll have our juvenoia into the future. John says his dad's a programmer and his mentor in 1979, working for 3Com, who pretty much let him hold a prototype Ethernet card and told me this is the future story to follow. He then told him about a game called Adventure, a text game, and how it would someday be just like real life, and we would play together on networks. Pretty prophetic stuff. Pretty
good understanding of where we were headed and where we did end up.
And
that's a pretty incredible. I mean, I don't. Boy, I could not today say, like, oh, this thing is gonna be the future, and in 50 years you're gonna be all like, this is gonna feel like what would I don't have anything that I could possibly say like, oh, I'm so sure where this is going in the next 30, 40, 50 years.
I think you sold yourself a little short. I think, in 2010, when you were messing with my iPhone, and and I think you were like, oh, the very first time you think of a place that you want to, a restaurant you want to go to, and you want to think if it's open, and you Google it from your phone, and it has a phone number that pops up on your thing that you can just press a button, and you're like, I think at that point you could have charted some like, oh, right, I can see where this is going, right? That, within 10 years, we're all going to be doing so much more on these devices, instead of.
But I mean, that's not, everyone knew that.
I don't think so. I don't think everybody knew when the iPhone first arrived. No, I know the iPhone's from 2007, that we were all inevitably. I think if you told. If you asked,
are you saying that I actually said that?
I'm saying
saying hypothetically if I had said that?
I think you and I talked about this.
I think probably you said that.
I think you and I both had these discussions. I think you sell yourself short. Really.
Okay, but 10 years, sure, but 50 years. And okay, say he said that in the 70s, and now it's true. I guess it was true already.
I mean, it's
20 years ago.
Yeah, easily. I mean, 20 years ago was World of Warcraft, and there were MMOs.
Yeah.
Depending on what you consider an MMO, there were already MMOs by 1985.
Okay.
So it's, I'm not saying it's not an impressive prediction. It certainly is.
Yeah.
I think it's just a further sign that we are actually better about understanding where this technology leads than we think. We often just think like, oh, we don't really know what's going to happen. This technology gets introduced to the wild, and then it takes a while for us to sort of see what's going to happen with it. But I think there are people we're seeing it right now with AI. There are people out there who, are saying very definitively, we don't know yet which ones, but that are saying like, oh, this is what our world is going to look like in, a decade. Yeah. And I think we all just went through that with smartphones. And I mean, people who are thinking about the future, which I think you're a person who, thinks about the future and thinks about where we're headed. And I think you back then would have thought, yeah, like this is the, this device is going to literally change the way the world works. I don't think I would have even said how fast it would have happened. Like, there are elements about it that would have been totally wrong. Like, I think it happened even faster than anybody thought.
Yeah.
Which is another thing we should consider with AI, that some of the bigger, bolder predictions might happen sooner than people realize. But in our lives, we've gone now through two gigantic technical, massive breakthroughs. They're both totally related to one another, but we've lived through the birth of the internet, not really the birth, but the acceptance, the worldwide acceptance of the internet, and then the smartphone. And I think, like it's you'll have another opportunity to make some bold predictions soon for where we're all going.
I don't want to put them out there because I can't get over my cynicism
of the future.
Yeah.
And AI.
Well, the future in general, and but I mean with AI, I guess I just I think how unhappy Americans and young people are, and increasingly so the younger they are. Like, I think it points to the way we change our society to organize around these technologies is, I don't know. It makes me really sad, and it just proves how much we shouldn't trust
what
the people who are making technologies.
What technologies
are you
referring to specifically? Like, The smartphone generally? You think
This both, well, I think it's the smartphone, the phenomenon of having a computer always with you, and then the applications, the social media, gamified attention.
so you think even just the, you know, concept of the smartphone, the idea of being connected to, the greater World Wide Web at all times is pretty much bad. I don't know if I
Bad. I don't know. I mean, it's not for how I would word it. I mean, obviously, there's so many things about it, and I'm not. I mean, hello, here's my iPhone. So, I mean, I'm not giving it up. Like, but I'm just really worried about what it does to us as people when we're out moving in the world.
But is it the device itself, or is it the applications on it that you were just referring to? Isn't like
I mean, but how can you disentangle them? I think it's not only is it, I mean, I don't know. I feel like social media would have a different hold over us all if it was like just on our laptops. Like if you didn't have it in your pocket, like buzzing at you on your watch.
I mean, I agree to some extent. I don't know how those things could ever be disentangled.
Yeah.
But I do think that the, noxious, if social media is
the always on part.
Yeah. I mean, the harder thing to do is to come up with the utopian vision for all this, because we've only ever seen the downsides.
Yeah, we've just seen this one version.
I don't think that there is. I don't think that the tool itself of like a smartphone and is inherently corrupting. I mean, I do think it is.
No, I think, yeah, I definitely. It's not. We can't take our own, human willpower and our own relationship to our own attention and our own community, our own, that's the part that really worries me, is the like degradation of the physical community. Yes, we have all these internet communities, which are great and valuable places. And I'm saying this on an internet community you built, which has value and has been a great place. But I don't. It's the I don't. I get, like I said, it's way more cynical, and maybe I don't truly believe hopefully I don't believe the 100% cynical part, but I always feel myself gravitating towards seeing the very, like, wow, like it's like each younger and younger generations, like we're just getting sadder.
I mean, sort of objectively true as far as we know.
As measured, as these things can be measured.
Yes. I always worry about this cynicism begats cynicism begats cynicism. Like, when the only visions of the future are everything is awful and terrible, and, we can only really conceptualize a world in which things get worse, it's so much harder for than anybody else, especially young people, especially people who have no other frame of reference, to ever get out of that mode. And like, I think there's you've got to have some level of optimism, if for no, naive or not, just so that you don't, instill learned helplessness, or just that the more you sort of condition people to believe that it's every man for themselves, the more that they truly believe that. And then once people start acting more selfishly, it then is another snowball where people respond to it more selfishly. And so it's like, at some sense, like, I kind of wish somebody would go, even though it seems insane that both there would be an audience for it and that somebody could conjure it, I really wish we'd have like the incredible piece of utopian fiction out. For so long, we've had nothing but a post-apocalyptic or, in the middle of the fall type fiction.
We can read so many examples of how it goes bad.
But I guess, and I don't watch it nor read or engage with it, but the only truly like piece of utopian fiction that I know of, and it is beloved. And it'd be kind of cool if we could try this in some other way. Is Star Trek, right? Like, isn't Star Trek about the world where it's a world with there's no longer scarcity, abundance is everywhere, you can print anything on demand. It's like a hopeful vision of what the world can be. And like, I think that's inspired a lot of people to do a lot of good things. And maybe if we had more visions of a future that said, hey, we can imagine a thing.
We can work together.
Or just, I mean, we were just talking about how often things that we imagine as fiction become realities, or because that's the way we plant ideas in people's minds, and they tend working towards those things. And so if you give people some worlds or fictions or possible futures that, you just instill some ideas like, oh, this is the way things can work. We're all working in owner-occupied or employee-owned stock, companies. We're all working in co-ops. We're all living in governments with participatory budgeting. All these things. I don't know what it is, but we just have such a dearth of ideas of like the way things can actually go well, and like I think that's probably not good. Like, we don't spend any time thinking like, okay, we've got all this cool shit that if you had told me when I was 12,
what if everything went right?
Yeah, what the world could be like, and maybe inspiring people instead of scaring them. But that also sounds kind of boring to me too. Like, who wants to read about things going well? Anyways, that was a long. And I'm sorry to have derailed. Let me get the second bag going.
Point. I think either we should. I mean, surely there's everything out there, so surely there is more utopian fiction out there. So we should make a point, you and I, to seek it out. But yeah, what a cool idea of. I mean, maybe we do need to watch some Star Trek.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I've seen the J.J. Abrams movies. They're okay. I saw.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I consider those like pop culture Star Trek as opposed to like all of the rest of it is like actual Star Trek. Star Trek TV, I should say. That's a good divide.
I had a friend in third grade who bought me the book Star Trek. It's the one where Kirk meets Jean-Luc Picard.
Okay.
What's his name?
Sort of like an origin
meet
story
or something. Picard. And then I pretended I read it, but I never did.
Oh, that's why you know so little about it.
Yeah, but he gave it to me as a gift. He's like, he was a Trekkie, and
presumably his parents were Trekkies.
Yes, and he was so nice. This is Eric.
Oh.
Yeah. I shouldn't say his last name. Eneb. This was Eneb. And he bought it for me. And I thought it was very nice, but I still didn't really want to read it. I do think I read the first paragraph 3 or 4 times. So, I made a...
That's a real effort.
Yeah. Eneb, if you're out there, I'm sorry I never read that Star Trek. I just lied to you. I just nodded vigorously when you asked me if I remembered that part and what I thought about that part. And if my answer was, oh, it was cool for everything, you now know.
Yeah.
Second bag, will you get us a who our second bag is dedicated to? Who do you...
I think is that Dedekey? No.
That can't be right.
That
sounds even worse.
Yes. Dedicatee.
Yes.
Dedicatee.
If you'll find our dedicatee.
Did you dedicate to John Phantom yet?
I think we did, but we can always...
Not today.
Yeah, not today.
Not today. For all of that you see history about the CPC. Pretty incredible. So John's definitely a little more, a lot more optimistic than myself. Says AI is pretty amazing. I'm hoping for more advances in automation for labor. This could mean the end of capitalism, putting most people out of work.
I agree.
I read that sentence like triggered some of my cynicism because I'm like, capitalism is gonna find a way to keep on capitalism, and like, I like the idea of the accelerationist, like, let's get everybody out of work so that then we just force the issue and we have to do UBI or something to fix it. But this is America, guys. Like, we are, as a country, we are so okay with our citizenry suffering.
Okay, I'm glad you're saying that, because I was going to say, I would not call. I mean, we did this last week. Had this exact thing.
Yeah, you were talking UBI then.
You're making an excellent point, because there is some part of me as well that's like, why try to salvage a system that is obviously really not worth saving, that allows so many people to fall through the cracks? But
it's like the people who are propagating the system are the people who are benefiting from it.
The choice is not simply, letting more people get immiserated and then the system collapses and a new, better thing forms. It's not simply like that's the way it would work. Americans have an incredible tolerance for letting people suffer, and we have an incredible tolerance for letting people all over the world suffer, but we also have leaving that aside, current miseries in the world, just very, very callously sweeping those aside. Let's just stay with a very selfish little view. Americans are very okay with American suffering. Yeah, it's somehow it's a little worse in America than in other places. There are plenty of places that they can't actively help the people who are suffering because they don't have the resources to do so. The majority of the world sort of falls under that umbrella. America is so totally different. We absolutely have all of the resources that we could ever need in order to help even the most impoverished of us. But not only do we not do that, which is bad enough, even though we have the resources, but America is unique in that we blame the people who are impoverished for their situations, even when it comes to things like AI. It will be like, when every administrative assistant is let go because you don't need a scheduler anymore.
Right.
It's like, well, you should have been a programmer. You should have been the CEO. It's your fault for not having the skills.
Or you should have seen it coming. Like, why didn't you start, diversifying your skills?
That is a uniquely, or more or less uniquely American, form of prejudice and self-hate that you don't find anywhere else. Other countries, the Luddites, smashed up all of the, I forget what it was specifically, the looms or whatever piece of technology it was.
Factory equipment.
Yes. And, here in America, it's like, not only do we totally allow you to suffer, but for those who are the losers, because all systems have winners and losers, we blame them for being the loser, and we tell the winner, like, you earned this. This was because of your singular genius.
I guess the hope is just that if it hits like a tipping point, that it's a critical mass of people that are on the losing end of that there's enough people who are those losers, or love those people who we would otherwise deem losers, or know them, worked with them, love them, etc., etc. Like, we hit that critical mass where it's just like, no, we can't. It like changes that viewpoint, that it's like, we can't accept that because there's just too many of us that know that's not true.
There absolutely would be a tipping point and a critical mass, but because of those uniquely American things, it is a pain point that nobody wants to get to. There will be
we're gonna AI is gonna change all these jobs, but it's gonna do it much more gradually. It's not gonna be, and like you said, like, oh, all the administrative assistants are fired because you don't need a scheduler anymore. Like, I think, yes, ultimately, it is gonna be like whatever huge 90 whatever percent of them are gonna lose their jobs. Or these jobs are not going to be open for future generations that might have filled them. Like, but it's it's not like it's happens on one day. It's
and because it's a slow rolling thing, you're boiling the frog, right? You can tolerate it slowly, but you couldn't tolerate it all at once.
There's not like a day that the headline can be, all executive assistants have been fired. Like, there's not a newspaper headline.
So I had a conspiracy theory last week that we're already seeing layoffs from AI, but they're being called for other things because of this.
Yeah,
they know that there will be a massive backlash, and so we
being the tech companies that have been.
And to be clear, I made this point, and I want to make it again. I don't think that anybody really believes that we're at a point where AI could replace something like a scheduler, other than in the very most, spreadsheet technical, just A to B plugging in things kind of way. But these are companies forecasting for the next 2 or 3 years and saying, yeah, but I think a year from now that might be true.
They're like willing to gamble on it.
Yes. And which is a reason, again, that you should, that the expectation should be that things are going to change rapidly. They certainly know more than us, are privy to, even more than you and I are. And
the good old Metas and Googles and Microsofts.
I'm so sorry. I have to do this second bag for our buddy, John Fanton.
Oh, yeah.
That was my bad.
Deeper in the weeds. But you got to get, instead of deeper in the weeds, you got to get deeper in the weed.
See, that's why I don't think I've ever been able to pull that one out before. And I often talk about being in the weeds. Oh God. Oh, I really let it get cool. Guys, you know what? Once the bag heats up and we're ready to go, I'm going to get through it. I'm going to put the timer on the board. I'm going to put it on my laptop.
He's got a timer.
10 minutes. It's going to be done in 10 minutes.
Wow.
That's a gear. Oh, I did my phone. That'll be even easier. But I got to wait for it to heat up first.
What's our temp here? Oh, it's...
Set a timer for 10 minutes.
Got 200 to go. All right.
Pause.
Let's
speed through some here.
Yeah, let's get back to chat, because we just we were communally irresponsible. So okay, all right. Arcane said, "Hey, Arcane just got back from a day trip to Venice Beach, which we over here at Weeats community we love. We promo a day trip to Venice Beach. It's just such a cool place to walk around.
Yeah, it's also an object of a lot of derision.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think if you were to watch a lot of right-wing news, you would see Venice Beach prominently as like, behind
Portland and Seattle.
Yes,
but as emblematic of like weird, smoke-filled LA.
Yeah, or not even smoke-filled.
Cultural.
Just.
I mean,
vagrancy. It's the homelessness.
Oh, the homelessness.
This is Venice Beach gets all kinds of images of like, oh, look at this, these awful cities in California, going to shit.
Right.
Because, the
not prosecuting prosecuting crime at all.
That is not there is, like anywhere in Southern California, and especially a lot of areas with tourism. An unfortunate amount of homelessness there, but it is I mean, it. I'm not saying that it is cool, and despite that, it is a cool place to go. And I just think it is such a shame that it gets picked on and targeted as this awful hellhole when it is a super neat place. And if you ever in Southern California, definitely worth, because it's right next to the Santa Monica Pier. You can just walk one from the other. You see two cool, big, recognizable things. We hit temperature here. Almost.
340?
Almost. I do have the timer ready to go once this is done.
And we also, hopefully, still around. This was like almost 20 minutes ago. Heard from Shambeezy.
Hey, Shambeezy. He says, "My guy Weeats, it's always a pleasure to watch. You look good, my man. I hope 2024 is kind to you in all endeavors. Cheers to the upcoming 420. Well, thanks, man. Yeah. I super appreciate that. That's so nice of you to say. Oh, that was a lot of kind words. And nice. I am also looking forward to the rapidly approaching 420. There's actually a sheet with notes here on it.
Yeah, there's some plotting.
Yeah.
Some questions of like, ooh, what's the best way for Weeats to celebrate?
And now that I will have somebody who can be in here helping out, I think we're gonna make this one to remember, in the sense that that's the expression, but if it's a really great 420, it should be kind of...
You'll forget it.
Yes.
And maybe some of you all will forget it, but I'll remember.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to hit the timer now. Here we go. 10 minutes is on the board. This is one of the kind of fun graphics that I think we should make. I should have a countdown timer for these and have it for everybody, and they can all help keep me honest.
Yeah.
But I've got...
You got it on your own.
I'm here. I'm watching
right now.
I'm focused.
Okay. Grovel does say that maybe you would like Star Trek Lower Decks.
I've heard is Lower Decks the animated one? There are like 5 Star Trek shows, I think, or maybe a lot of them have ended.
Oh boy.
My favorite.
Yes. Yeah,
okay.
That's the animated.
My favorite novelist, my favorite writer of fiction was the showrunner, I think. Is that correct? Or I think actually the showrunner of one of the Star Treks, Picard, maybe? Michael Chabon, a incredible novelist, guy who wrote The Yiddish Policeman's Union, The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay, Wonder Boys, Mysteries of Pittsburgh. I think, will you Google Star Trek Michael Chabon? That, if anything, would get me to watch the show. It might be that.
First season of Picard.
He was the showrunner of the... Wow. That's interesting.
Wrote 2... Oh, well, that's normal for a showrunner. Wrote 2 of the episodes. He's been a fan since he was 10.
I did know that. I've also read a lot of his essays.
Did you know this sentence?
No, I did not. Holy shit. He just finished turning... his novel and my favorite book of all time, The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay, into a screenplay.
This is just... Oh my gosh. What? This is a Google, innovation, maybe
this is not Google. This is Brave.
This is not Google. You're in Brave. Yeah. This is powered by Brave AI.
I mean, Google definitely has these boxes now, too.
Okay, yeah. The same idea that, wow, so we typed in the question, or, I mean, it's not really, well, it was a question, but I didn't put a question mark or anything. I typed Star Trek Michael Chabon. Your question was like, well, what did he do that was with, and it, describes who he is and what he's doing currently. And it shows you where the info came from 2 different websites, and it put it into a little summarized paragraph at the top. And so now we don't even have to visit those websites. We don't even have to bless them with our traffic for ad.
We can fire our assistant who would normally have us.
We can fire the assistant.
Yeah, we have our assistant who will, like, when we bring these questions up, normally they'll come and, do things. So I'm looking forward to firing her. I can't wait for the AI future. Okay.
All right. And I was not ignoring, but just waiting to sort of put together all of Crispy Nacho's comments.
Ooh, lay it on me.
Had a lot to say about AI. So Crispy Nachos, the great thing about the internet is the amount of information we have on others and their culture. But AI is dangerous. It targeted me personally on my ads. I don't believe it would be an issue for AI to control the masses, or a point being the ease of eye candy. AI can easily understand our motivations. And I got an ad from AI. I was on YouTube and I got hit with an ad of 2 square-shaped floating robots with a futuristic background speaking about how they could relate to humans more without scaring them. Then one robot says to the other, "It's all good. We are already speaking to them." Then they turn to the camera, which pans backwards to an AI robot on a computer making the ad.
Interesting.
That's a trippy ad. I would not.
What were they selling?
Does ChatGPT have ads for itself?
I mean, probably, but okay. Crispy Nachos, I totally understand the being freaked out and the like, oh my God, this stuff is so creepy already. A couple of questions though. One, I mean, we've been doing scary targeting advertising for at least a decade in terms of you Google one thing one time and on your computer, and before you know it, every time you Google something on your phone, you'll see 6 ads, redirecting you back to that thing. And those things will pop up 4 months later and come in these, we're already in the world of scary targeted advertising. Like you could have a health condition that you never Google, but that you your doctor has given you some kind of
maybe you looked up the prescription for it.
Yeah, you looked up a prescription and some symptoms, and before you know it, you are getting Google targeted ads on your iPad for different alternative therapies for that, or more insidiously, things like try out our nutropathic solutions for this disease that you never even Googled, but that we know that you have through process of, on this table, if you search for these 4 different terms, it's a 89.2% likelihood that you would only be searching these 4 things if you have this disease or someone close to you that does. So then they're already targeting you, bombarding you on things devices that aren't even, the thing that you looked at on, or accounts that are related, but because we are tracked through all kinds of different methods, cookies, pixels, little tracking pixels, all these different strategies. Like targeting advertising has been good and scary good for a long time. AI will make it
good for the advertisers. Not good for the consumers.
Yes, no, not at all. Like I think we were talking earlier about things you could do to make things better, and I think just banning targeted advertising probably would go a long way to making the internet a less hostile place. And that's very, I know it would devastate Google, but it's a pretty simple.
It would also just so much of, it would totally change Facebook's business model. Meta, but yeah, so much of the incentive for these companies to collect so much information about us and hoard it and not get rid of it and, instead store it and run it through their, create all these different profiles and probabilities. That's all because of advertising, right? Yeah. That's the motivation. That's where that money pipeline is. So if you just weren't allowed to do that, what would they be needing all that data collection for?
Well, now data is worth more then
They
for
would-
the
Cambridge-
advertising, it's not true yet, but predicted that all of the data that is being collected, I mean, the bounty on it used to be the profiling you could do to sell for advertising purposes. But now it's the profiling you can do for whatever you want.
Which, I mean, the big case is Cambridge Analytica to do what you want for political purposes.
Yes, but I mean...
But also anything.
Yeah, if Hilton wants to make a chatbot so they can replace all of their booking agents, they can... Any kind of language-based data really helps train those bots. And so just any repositories
now it's just to feed the AI and get them even better.
The data is just valuable in and of itself because some bot somewhere can synthesize it in some way to make, better predictions about this, that, or the other. Which brings me to the other thing I want to say very quickly about Crispy's point, which is that... my bag! Oh my god! I'm nowhere close.
He has less than a minute.
I got it. Go, you talk.
Crispy did just clarify. Crispy's not on the side of AI will destroy us, by the way.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
Maybe
I'm not actually
just having some fun. Crispy is going... Maybe he's already started smoking some of that PNP Fire OG.
I see. I'm also not necessarily that AI won't destroy us all. But
I remember in 2013 talking about you explained the paperclip problem to me.
Yes, which you can explain while the clock went to 0, but I started a little late. But
Yeah. So just hit repeat.
No, I got this.
He's got this. Okay. Paperclip problem, if you haven't heard of it, is there's an AI that is programmed to think that making paperclips is it's what it's optimized for. It's what it's supposed to do is make more paperclips, and I guess
it is given the sole instruction.
It is that's its only instruction is make more paperclips, and at some point it doesn't also have the programming of make more paperclips, but you also care about humans. So because it doesn't have that, it is just going to keep on doing what it was programmed to do, which is to make paper clips. So it will start, taking all the resources in the world, your house or, all the rare metals that we need in order to make more paper clips. And eventually the world will just be consumed into paper clips. It's also you can put I think the first way you told me was the handwriting machine.
Yeah, you can put any widget in there you want.
Anything that's it's an AI that thinks it just needs to make this thing.
To enhance just a little bit.
Yes.
So
please.
what?
Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Did you finish your bag?
Almost.
Says AI is statistical database autocomplete. It figures out a list of the next most likely word to say. Great. If it has randomization, it might pick a less likely word. These are not like humans.
Well, hold on.
Okay.
With the paperclip.
Show my paperclip.
The thing about so how would an AI turn your house into paperclips? The thing that spins out of control and causes everything to go wrong is you give it this bot that you can obviously has a high level of intelligence, well, whatever we're calling intelligence. Yes, to determine how to make paper clips. So how does it go from, taking pieces of metal that already exist to turning them into paper clips? Well, it interprets its directive as if you don't have stuff to make paper clips of, learn how to make things to make into paper clips. So, and the other thing is this is a bot that is connected to our networks writ large. It is not, it doesn't just exist in a factory all to itself, disconnected. It is, you are letting it access the internet.
It's internet connected and it's learning.
So it thinks, okay, well then I know I don't have any more zinc to make paper clips of, but I'm going to start watching YouTube tutorials on how to mine zinc. And then it starts building little drilling, attachments or whatever to start mining the zinc, so on and so forth. With, again, just that, even though it at some point would be vastly more intelligent than you or I, because it becomes this galactic spacefaring, intelligence in the service of making more paper clips, but it uses that intelligence just for the singular purpose of making this one thing. And so it's kind of like this, three Asimov 3 rules: be careful how you direct things,
it was never told to consider the problem of how many paper clips do we actually need.
Right. Thank you, John. Great points about LLMs and large language models and autocomplete, which is how a lot of something like ChatGPT works, or the big bots that are out there. 2 points I want to make. The most interesting stuff I think that is happening in AI, largely, yes, John, I 100% agree with you that we have this really narrowed idea from even 10 years ago of what we consider to be AI right now. Like, we've really let the marketers expand, what we consider to be AI, because I don't think if you would have told somebody 20 years ago that, like, there's a great chat bot and that it's just predicting, based on large language models, that they would have necessarily said AI. But we've sort of moved the Overton window on that from artificial general intelligence, is what people used to mean, to programs that can mimic human thought and language or whatever. But I think there are things with AI that that are much more practical and not quite like that. There's a lot of stuff in visual. There's already incredibly interesting stuff in medicine, both with folding proteins. There's this incredible thing about a study about training an AI model on irises, and how, this is one of the most fascinating things to me. We basically, I can't remember what the original purpose was, but we took an LLM type, but on images, looking at human irises. I think it was for some medical purpose, like looking for glaucoma or something. I don't quite remember, but
yeah, that's definitely diagnostic.
Yeah, and after they went through the whole thing, they found something even more remarkable, which is that the AI could tell with 98.6, maybe greater than that even, percent accuracy whether that iris belonged to a man or a woman, which is something that we have humans we didn't know was even possible, but the AI could just do, because it is seeing things, patterns, that you or I can't even perceive yet. Like, there's some symmetry, something going on that this thing trained on just images.
Because it got millions of images of pupils and was just looking at pupils.
Yeah.
And all the data that was organized with that.
Yes.
Tagged with those images. It had access to that in a way no single human ever would. And also, yeah, like you said, who would ever think to study that?
Right, yeah. I mean, that's going to be something that AI is going to be excellent at, is pointing out things that we never even thought to consider.
The questions we never thought to ask. Yeah. You can tell someone's gender, or not gender, excuse me. You can tell someone's sex by their eyes.
And of course, one of the big downsides of AI is there's no way to ask them questions, because
it can't tell you how it found that.
Right. It doesn't. There's no way to reverse engineer what it did so that we could.
That goes great with John's comment. It has no comprehension. It doesn't comprehend why it found that finding. It just spits out that finding, right, because the finding is just part of the data set when it's looking at it.
This is, I'm going to move on from AI because we could just get stuck here forever. I'll let you have the last word. I want to say one more thing myself.
I need the last word.
As this is the point I'm always trying to make, and I don't mean it dismissively or to push in one way or the other, but I think what's going to happen and is already happening is the more we start probing these LLMs and different, AI models, we're not going to find the uncomfortable thing we're going to discover is that not how much less special we are. We're going to discover that our ways of thinking are actually our brains are much more like these models than we really find comfortable to believe. That the more you study AI, the more you realize that they're, our brains are actually more alike than these things than not.
It's we're gonna have a tougher time with defining what that general intelligence is, but because of a newfound view on our own intelligence, our own human intelligence, and what differentiates it from these computer type intelligences. And I think, I kind of have that view that, it's with the iris thing, that great example. It's like, who can say maybe a human would have been able to somehow parse that out? I don't know, but it's just no human has ever had the access and the tunnel vision to be just looking at that data and to be looking at it at that scale.
We don't know what senses we don't have. Like, we don't know what whole spectrums of data inputs about whatever kind of reality that is objective is out there that we may be missing. Like, a person who is colorblind can't really understand what red is, but there might be things greater than simply color differences, whole ways that one can understand and experience and, have sensation for the world that we just are totally blind to, like, right, that we will never know. It could even be in that picture that, like, a model sees something on the visible light spectrum that we just cannot access and don't even know that we can't access, nor ever will we be able to know.
We don't know what we don't know.
Right. And the only way, that's what we're going to just continue to find, the better we make our AI models, the less we have to privilege our own minds, not the more that we have to privilege AI models. Like, because you don't have to scratch back the layers too much to find these infinitely recursive loops of behaviors all influencing each other. And once you start to add enough of those little loops over and over again, interacting with each other, you might have what seems to be consciousness. Anyways, what were we talking about before the illusion of consciousness? I've got chat over here.
Nachos is back.
Nachos is back. He says, "Hi, I'm back, and I'm fried." Well, thanks. Welcome for being back.
I'm going to indulge myself. I love this.
Indulge yourself.
I love this. What would you call this? Graphic article? Webcomic article? Webcomics?
Mixed media piece.
Mixed media piece. Thank you. This was in November. Wow, that feels forever ago. November 15th.
My toddler is my toddler a stochastic parrot? Ooh, isn't that a great start? I will answer for them. Yes. I'm happy to go ahead and say that yes is the answer to that question.
That's what I really like your view on it, and it's like, yeah, and if you think about how babies acquire knowledge, how different are they from LLMs?
Not very.
We did miss while we were wrapping that up. We were definitely wrapping that up. John Phantom did find that On YouTube, he's not allowed to type idiot savant.
Really?
He can type savant, he can type idiot, but cannot type them together.
Huh. You can just say Rain Man to me.
Yeah.
I'll understand. You can just call it the old Dustin Hoffman. Idiot savant. I guess that is now because
it was being
is it tied to autism? Is it? That would be my guess. Is that it has like some negative connotation with? I mean, idiot. Has its dumb own connotation.
You can definitely type idiot, and that was his first
when
question was like, can you not just even type idiot?
I think idiot savants, when the term was used to actually describe people, were often people on the spectrum or whatever.
Yeah.
Autistic usually. But so I guess I mean, it seems like a weird thing to have in a filter. Like,
yeah. Especially when you can say idiot and you can say savant.
Yeah.
You just can't put them together.
So bizarre. I do take a little bit of offense though. As just an idiot.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna.
Oh God.
I'm. If I have your permission, I'm gonna touch your face. Do I have your permission?
Yes. Oh, I'm already closing my eyes in terror.
Well, I know you're terrified, but okay. All right. Here you go. Now you gotta make a wish.
I blow on it and then make a wish?
Something like that.
It didn't come true.
Well, it's still stuck on my thumb. That's. That'll come true.
It still didn't come true. Damn it. All right, we gotta get third back. How about we do some? Do you want to play a couple more games of Splatoon?
I would play a couple more games of Splatoon.
I'm gonna do a couple. I'm gonna do this bag, enjoy it, maybe set the other 10-minute reminder, and then I might play one or two with you as well.
You would join me.
Yeah.
I think maybe just Turf War.
Yes.
Even though we said Salmon Run earlier.
Unless we got any homies want to join for some Salmon Run. I understand. John C. was on one of the scheduled airline crashes he listed in the movies. Oh, wow. That is nuts. I had forgotten that he did that in the movies. Was that... I'm glad you were no longer scheduled. I can't remember. Was he listing especially bad airline crashes? I mean, shockingly, airline crashes, not that fatal. Not crashes, just accidents in general, because most are on the tarmac. But,
didn't understand that.
Yes. It's one of those things, if you play with the numbers certain ways, it's like, actually, even getting in an accident, the concept of having an accident in a plane is incredibly rare. But even if you did get in one, it's not that fatal. It's like, well, yeah, if you say on the tarmac as being on an airplane, well, okay. But if you say number of people who survive a plane crash that the engine falls out 20,000 feet up, it's looks a little grimmer.
Right. Oh, I got a game going. Will you change?
Oh yes, I'm so sorry. Thank you.
It's just
nice catch though.
It's just now changing. Cool. Thank you. I don't know if you're still with us, 13 or 1-3, but I didn't mean to ignore the comment. The comment, dear Weeats, was reviews, please, more reviews. The people demand more reviews.
I should do, if nothing else, and I'm not promising anything, some products that I have really just been doing a lot of that I enjoy, and I can. I don't even have to make them just like, oh, this is a thing that I don't know. I should.
Classic style, right?
Yeah. Like this dog.
Oh,
He's got a top. Cool. Rain Man said he wouldn't get on a plane because of all the accidents. Well, then my understanding of airline. Well, this is 40 years ago or whatever too. And,
that was a pretty bad time for. Well, they're sloshing this real good.
Airlines are it's one of those things. Air travel, it's just like every year is safer than the year before it. Well, let's see how this Delta Max situation resolves itself. But it was a very different world in the 70s when it came to airline safety and safety regulation. Not so true when it comes to automobiles. Really, again, kind of a uniquely American phenomenon. The horrifying thing that is true with automobile fatalities recently is that it's not so much people in a car who are getting killed by vehicles anymore. What is really skyrocketing is pedestrian deaths. Our love for big old honking SUVs and trucks means that we can't see people walking in front of us. We've designed cities.
They're so much heavier, those vehicles.
Yes, heavier. Which so when they do hit you, and maybe an extra ton in weight.
And also, just like that, it's where it hits you. That it might be.
Well, that's part of the tolerance.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, tall. You said that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It used to be that you would get sort of pushed from a car if a sedan hits a pedestrian.
That's a loss.
It's terrible and bad, but often the pedestrian will roll off the hood. But when your chest comes up to the grill of the car, the physics are very different, and you often get run over. It's awful. Let's stop talking about traffic fatalities.
I got 3 golds, and we won by 0.3%.
Holy shit! Nicely done. You're back.
I'm back.
This is the start of a.
This is
the start of a 12-game win streak.
A 12-game win streak.
I feel it.
And look at who carried that team.
Bert.
Bert. You want to join me on this?
I'll go on next one. I gotta finish this. I haven't made a lot of progress. It might be 2 more. I'm gonna endeavor to make it 1. John says American Airlines Flight 625, a Boeing 727, crashed at St. Thomas on April 27th, 1976, while on domestic scheduled passenger flight originating from Green Airport in Rhode
Probably Island.
Island. Oh my god, the aircraft ran into a gas station. That's one of those ones on the tarmac, but that time it proved highly fatal with 37 of 88. Are they souls on an airplane too? Or is that only in a boat?
Souls are everywhere.
But when you list a manifest, there's like, on a ship, it's like officially, you say like, there are souls on board. But that might also be true for
I think that's just...
See him in the 3 body prop. Yeah. Evo C worthy. Well, that's really good. If that's not his name, it certainly should be. This is supposed to be.
This is not the
birth of 12.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's not yet. It's not over yet.
Well, John, I am glad that you and anybody you know were not injured or, even worse, killed on that fateful aircraft. And again, let's hear it for airline safety. Until Delta and their profit-driven motives are here to throw a spanner in the works.
Aced him and got him. Yes.
Double. Making a
No.
Got yourself that one.
It mattered. Love the ones that feel like they matter. Love me.
They're all up in your grill, son.
I know, right?
You know what? Here's what I can at least do. I can be smart and
Oh, get
through the shit. You got hashtags everywhere.
Wait. I think I got Zachy back.
Oh. That's probably
Oh, gosh darn it.
rated.
I did not want to trade. I wanted to plow through them and continue on and turn this around. I don't think that's the narrative that's happening. Oh god, there's chaos. Chaos on my head.
I was a little off on my prediction.
Oh.
Just a little bit, though.
Oh, look at him in his robot outfit. Oh, that's nice for him.
John said his mom had a premonition. They were there a week early, and his dad didn't go to donate the second rarest blood, AB. 14 years in the same hospital. No one came to donate for him. I always are blood types, man, and if you have one of those incredibly rare blood types, how valuable it is for your plasma. I have no idea what my blood type is either. Yeah, that's a whole crazy world out there. Is plasma for and blood's for
Universal something. Is B the universal receiver?
I cannot tell you for sure. I don't know. O
is the universal donor,
donor?
I think.
That seems like the only one that I can actually know.
I know, it must be.
Hey, cancel. I'll join you.
What is A?
Too bad. Too late. I mean, my bad.
Oh, too late.
It just happened.
But you're ready. Oh,
I'll be ready for the next one. Well, I'm glad your mom had a premonition. It sounds like she was right out of the movie Knowing with Nicolas Cage, which heavily features a plot where people have premonitions of things like aircrafts. Also, the plot of the movie, The Final Destination. But
they keep on cheating death, right? Oh, it's a blaster.
The kid in Final Destination has a dream, which is a premonition by another name, let's say. I've never had a premonition for anything.
Oh, I just ran right into it.
And I'm not sure how serious I'm talking.
Oh, Rookie of the Year.
What a synergy of name, title.
Yeah,
and it feels extra insulting to get taken down by him, too.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Because he spent the effort to let you know how much
of a noob he is. And overall rookie. Man, and I got toasted by him. Oh, I hear him.
You got that hammer, homie. Nice.
Oh, that's based at the end.
That's totally fine.
That's totally fine. It's over here. Nobody's. Oh, here he comes. Oh, there he got
Sounds
me.
like a crash blaster. Pop, pop, pop.
Wait, see, that's a range blaster.
O negative is universal, and that is his uncle had an O negative is the universal donor. So O positive must be the universal receiver.
No, it's I don't. It's
AB
not like
positive.
it's AB positive. It's something like that.
Yeah, it's for something that really matters so much and can be truly life or death. I feel like we could really renovate the naming convention there. It feels very unintuitive.
I think there's actual very intuitive reasons for it.
I agree that somebody said,
"Oh gosh, I jumped right into it." No. I was trying to be a hero. That's why you don't try to be a hero.
I think my evidence for it not being that intuitive is, producer, I think of you as a very intelligent, knowledgeable person, and you are just as ignorant about those things as I am. So I don't think it's that intuitive. Like, if you just...
class ever, or I mean, after, 9th grade, I'm sure I would know it. I just never...
But there's a way you could explain it that I'm sure it could be explained to you once and you would remember it forever. How many different ones are there? Like A, B, are there positive negatives of each? And then there's A, B.
We won that.
How did you win? Blue won that?
Blue won that.
Oh my god, I would have bet
This is the
$3. Easily $3.
This is the optical illusion I'm talking about. That it's just incredible sometimes.
Goody Z says they're glad we're streaming every day. I am too. Thank you for saying that, Goody Z. And Queen Bee, I think I said hello. Thanks for being here. Will you hit stop for me and I will join you?
Oh, lovely. It's gonna back me up.
It wasn't. It was close, but it wasn't the closest. Wow. Yeah, I would have. They would have won for sure.
Yeah, somebody out the right timing on some. It was obviously not me. I'm watching on delay, like whatever the 20 seconds ago when I'm getting killed.
I'm making us a lobby, by the way.
You're making a lobby. I could do a good business by joining you there. I mean, that's if you had invited me.
I'm playing on my own Switch now, and I'm playing. I'm the character who has the better score at the end of the game.
You're fart and bird.
It's
Ready up.
I could be either one,
My-
depending on who has the better performance.
No, I'm definitely Fert. I'm your certified Fert.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. Almost certified, fertified. Almost.
Oh,
right.
that's good. We got this. Goody Z says, know any good 420 deals this year? Not yet. I haven't seen all of the big, promotions everybody's pushing, but I would guess, you're gonna find pretty spectacular deals wherever you choose to find it. It is a day for brutal cutthroat competition, and everybody really does pull out all the stops on that day to drive in customers. I would love to know what percentage of dispensary sales are done on 420. Their total yearly sales. And I would expand that time horizon out to the week leading up to 420. in 420 itself. That was bad. Wipeout. Oh yeah. Oh, they don't have much of their base, but
That
you know,
can be achieved
real quickly, especially when
and
you know we're all dead.
once we start killing them. Oh, Rune, little Rune with the paintbrush is even on my side.
All right, I got to get it together here.
Jumped in the water. Take a swim. So bad. I failed.
Oh no! Ran right into the hammer guy. My bad.
Somewhere. Oh my gosh, now I'm just stuck in a corner. That's not buddy buddy.
Oh, don't come to me! Don't come to me! Don't come to me!
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm probably.
It just went very bad.
Rune. Got that rune stir. Oh gosh.
Some of that.
I used the pop up and I did kill.
Oh, that's so sick. Perfect time for sick stuff. Well, I had an embarrassing end, but also an embarrassing start. Oh, wait! That looks pretty good.
I think we did that. We definitely did that.
Hell yeah, dog.
I'm
You almost left me hanging.
sorry. Thank you. I was still admiring that map.
As you should be. John says he ruled at Quake, the first textured 3D internet-ready competition FPS. Played Danish Thresh Fong, who won the first internet game for a prize. He had a beatable method and retired at like 20. There are, he's not the guy who became the other, I remember early esports phenomenon guy was the guy by the name of Fatality. Is he still around? Uh-oh, I think I forgot to join the lot. I have to make a lobby again. My bad, guys. Man, that's so cool, that you played. Did you play in the very first competition for money? And was this at, like, the very first QuakeCon? Quake, if you don't know, is made by id Software, even more famous for Doom. Not Dune, sorry, Doom. And Quake was like their...
Got it on the brain.
Yeah, it was, the first massive, Doom-like, Castle Wolfenstein-like multiplayer game. It was a huge, massive deal. It made id, into an even bigger deal than it was in the 90s. The guy who...
was Quake before Doom or after?
Doom, I think it was after.
Okay.
Doom, I think... there might have been other things before it, but...
Doom's real early.
Yeah.
We were talking about Doom earlier today, but for a very different reason.
The original... Was he the head of id? I think so. John Carmack.
I love art.
Guy instrumental making Doom and Quake and all those things. Just quit his job at Meta, where he was like their head technology guy, for Oculus. He the head of id, one of the many pioneers of id, is also instrumental in early VR tech.
So he's a pioneer of gaming in general.
Yes, and I think even programming. A polyglot genius ass dude. My God, I love you. What a snipe. They are kind of just hanging out in their base, though.
Okay, with that, if
Yeah.
you're gonna let us have the middle,
At least that's what it seemed to me.
just staying powered up, waiting for the end.
Oh, it's got two of them. I cannot believe
I
it.
love that.
Did not know what's down the dock.
And that's oh wow, two of us with hammers just died to a kraken. I'm okay with that though. When I see this map, I'm super okay with that.
Still looks good. I haven't been dead in a while.
It's nice. It's when you died, but don't die. So
I'll try not to. And I got sniped. Not a good time to die. It never is, but the last 30 seconds is real rough.
that
Oh. Grayscale. Hammer guy.
yeah, we still got it. They
Nicely done.
hopefully I'm not lying. Okay, yeah.
John, just clarify, man, John. Again, from the moment we met each other on Sunday till now, you keep filling me in with the coolest fucking stories. The direction. I mean, from what you were telling us on Sunday about.
Oh, I guess we know why his family could afford
Sets,
lack
yeah,
of early
$300,000.
yeah
I remember it kept
early
going.
PC technology.
Holy shit! That guy got to write fuck.
Yeah, he used the little F that's not an F.
Yeah.
That symbol.
That freak fuck. I love it. I fucking love it. He said he didn't play in the con. There weren't many Quake servers. And Thresh came on the Harvard server where he had played. He was working for a tech college at 27 years old. Amazing. What an interesting time to be at Harvard.
Or just in the Boston area.
Yeah, there's a
that
couple,
guy. Definitely gonna snipe
couple of
me.
nice universities.
Oh my gosh. I think that they've been trying to get me. They finally got me. I'm glad. I'm glad I distracted them with my... It's won't be, right?
Yes.
I
I thought you said you did it once.
I did do it. I did it.
It takes a while. Like, and like you
were playing in the campus.
You can charge it up.
Yeah, I just wasn't holding it long enough.
Yeah, it does take
Then because they got enemy ink below me, and then I was like falling into it. I don't think I could have done it then. Maybe that was my...
Maybe. You guys got it in for me. Oh, there are multiple of them that got it in for me. And to be honest, I wasn't even going to take the one. So it went back.
I'm feeling, bro.
But I'm respawned and ready to make up for past mistakes.
Pick it up. Are you a sniper? No, I'm not. Because your
I got the sniper.
Order Splatana got me.
Oh, then I got killer whaled. I did get the sniper though.
Thank you, bro.
Oh, I have my hammer in. Oh, we're doing okay.
Rated wafer. I don't think that was a trade. I just...
Oh my god, I ran into a cookie. Dumb. We're still... Oh, I think they've now pulled ahead. But it is turnaroundable if we can... Yeah, I got somebody. That helps.
Same.
Oh. Okay. I think that's gonna do it.
No.
Yeah, good deal. 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3.
Ain't bad.
Yes. As Jack Nicholson says, made this exact dumb comment before I am certain of it. As Jack Nicholson describes about the surviving members of the U.S. government, branches of our...
Why are you partial? Oh, that's when you clean your Switch.
I see. I disappear. My guts go away. Hey, he describes the Martians as a gesture of comedy that we can all get together. You know, we can all make it this. Hell, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. I think you try to zoom in the camera, but also you have to switch the... Oh, you did just switch it to chat. You did good. But then did you also zoom in?
No, I'm just trying to hit...
My bad.
I just
You're the you know what? Why would I think that my skills at those are bad at the best of times?
Did you finish that bag?
Let's see. I'm gonna do a blinker here as we talk about the future. We're gonna do some cool stuff to lead up for 420.
You gotta.
Yeah.
You gotta.
We're gonna, do all kinds of cool, fun stuff. I'll bring out more things than just the volcano. But we're also want to do other fun, more interesting kind of interactive things in the future, too. We're going to figure it out as time goes along.
I mean, the future is uncertain, but we're going to be optimistic about it.
Beautiful.
Instead of cynical. That's the lesson of today.
Yeah. Wow. And now you tied the whole thing together, too.
Nice little bow.
As the people in the terrible movie The Circle,
Oh, you've been watching
Tom Hanks describe about Emma Watson, you're a natural.
Screenwriter. Well, maybe multiple screenwriters sat down and had
Dave Eggers himself.
Oh boy. Okay.
He wrote the novel. Dave Eggers,
Right.
a guy, I read like 2 or 3 of his books. A heart-breaking work of staggering genius.
Such a great title.
Great book, too.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Stream. She ain't gonna do it.
She's too old.
She's too old.
She's got senior legs.
She's on the floor.
Anyways, I did that blinker without saying anything.
Yeah,
Anyways,
you didn't really promo it.
yeah, I guess I'll have to do one more. John
One more blinker.
says his dad had a hard liquor business originally, partied and wasted his money at the end, and the IRS took what was left. But it sounds like he had an incredible time, and seems like a precursor to what's his name? Old killed himself in the jungle. McAfee, John McAfee. He seems like if John McAfee based his obviously heavily fictionalized history on somebody, it sounds like
you need to
prototype in your father.
Pretty crazy person.
John McAfee?
Yeah.
The craziest. I can't wait for the A24 movie in the future.
Is that a real thing?
No.
Are you
but it will be.
Just assuming?
Yeah.
Predicting.
And you know what? You know who I'm going to go ahead and say would be a great John McAfee? Harry Potter.
Mr. Radcliffe.
Yeah, I mean, he'd be a little bit older.
He's already done Weird Al.
Yeah, but he could do that charm. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. Let's do this. Let's do this last blinker for our friend. John says he needed medication, among many other things.
Wow, yeah.
But even still, what a tragic end for a fucked up figure. Cecilio, I hope I got that right. Mr. or Mrs. Diaz, sorry. Presuming either way. And sorry if I got your name wrong. Let us know how you want to say it in the future. This final hit is going to be for you.
Wow.
We're going to bounce after this. We'll be back tomorrow, probably a little earlier. Or at least I will for sure. And we'll talk about cool stuff then. Here we go. I was like, oh, I should have something to say here. How about just goodbye?
Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.